Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. There we go. Episode 1185. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. It's a beautiful morning. East Coast Tom, he's itching to get out. I've got my mushroom coffee this morning. Normally, this is like a new routine because normally on a weekday, I wake up, I come downstairs, take a shower, and then I go up and I make my, or oh, no. Then I go upstairs and get my water. Then I come down and drink my water. I can't even remember my own routine. Then I do Hobby Evolution at 7 a.m. Then I go upstairs and make my mushroom coffee. So today, a weekend, I didn't shower. I just got out of bed, made my mushroom coffee, came downstairs, Hobby Evolution with mushroom coffee. Scotty Scheffler is free. That was breaking as we rolled out Hobby Evolution yesterday morning. What a crazy ass story. It sounds like it was just a big old miscommunication. Scotty Scheffler went to jail, did his pre-golf routine stretching in a jail cell, and then got out of jail and was able to make his tee time. How white America is that? You can make your tee time after being arrested and put into jail, and you're on the golf course by mid-morning. How about that? I mean, he shouldn't have been in jail in the first place. That was a little ridiculous. I mean, there's more and more that have come out, like the other golfers were saying, like they were directing other police officers were directing them through, and this guy on a power trip or just didn't know what he was doing. I don't know. So interesting, but Scotty Scheffler made his tee time, and he's golfing at the PGA Championship. I'm going to roll my eBay store. I'm going to talk a little bit about eBay this morning because I've had an increase in issues. And I'm not talking about not delivered, although that's one of them, but just issues. So I want to talk a little bit about eBay issues. Let me write it down. I've got to write. I've got freaking Post-it notes coming out of my ass down here. I think I lose one and I just eBay. What else? There was I had an issue last night that really pissed me off. This week, it's like, is it a full moon? Is it a full moon week? Because the eBay issues this week is like, normally I go through a week and I have an issue here and there, and it's usually like there's two instances on my issues. It's, when are you going to ship? 3 business days. God damn, how hard is that? Ships within 3 business days. So that's one. And then the second one is where's my package was delivered, but it's not in my mailbox. Where did you put it? Well, I put it in your mailbox. I swear to God, I put it in your mailbox. So that's one. And I've had a few of those this week. So eBay issues, but most of the time, I get a couple of those a week, but this week it seems like there's been an increase. And I looked at my numbers just now this morning, and I wanted to see, is it a numbers game? Am I having more issues right now because I'm doing a large increase? And I'm not. I've done more volume in the last 30 days, but not twice as many, not even close. A slight increase over the previous 30 days where I didn't have hardly any issues. So I thought it was a numbers game, not a numbers game. It's just a full moon or something. So we'll talk a little bit about eBay. I put in my garden. So I took the day off yesterday. Well, I took the afternoon off. And I'm going to try to make a point of doing that more on Fridays. I'd like to now, when I first started doing this, I was going to do bike ride Fridays. I was just going to take Friday off and go for bike rides. Well, there's been a little hiccup in that plan. The hiccup is, and I've got to figure out if I can get my battery charged without taking the battery off the bike, because I can't find the bike. There's a key for the battery. So you unlock the battery, take the battery off and charge it. So I can't find, I had 2 keys. I can't find them. And I looked, I kind of half-assed look initially when I realized I don't have the key. Yesterday afternoon, I did a deeper dive and threw out the garage and through a couple of our drawers where we keep excess keys. Couldn't find them. So I looked online, and you have to like replace the lock. But batteries are expensive. It's like, is it going to be expensive to replace the lock? Yes. Is it going to be expensive to replace the battery? Yes. So if it comes down, if I need the key to get it charged, I may have to look into pricing on what it is to replace the lock. You're like, well, it's probably cheaper to buy a battery. Probably not. It's like $700 for the battery. Actually, it might be more than that. I think the cheapest battery is $600. I have the double, the bigger battery, which I think to replace that's like $800, somewhere in that vicinity, which is little less than a third of the price of the bike. I mean, $800 for a fucking battery for a bike. So it might be cheaper to just replace the lock. So I'm going to look into that. Red Light with a good suggestion. Can a locksmith make you a key? Maybe. I can look into that also. So can't find the key. Took out all my cards. I got a hit. I'm trying to get rid of some bulk. Finally got a hit on my Facebook Marketplace post. We'll see if that comes to fruition. If not, I may beg my previous buyer, like, please, will you buy another truckload? It's been a while. You got room now, right? Because I need space. So I've been throwing more cards away. Than I normally do, because I just don't have space for them. It's like, fuck it, throw them away. So hopefully that comes too. So I unloaded my card show boxes, because I've got to have my tables for next weekend. Saturday, May 25th, a week from today, next Saturday, is the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. 175 tables, free admission, 3 ballrooms again. So come out to the Madison Card Show after the show, go across the street, eat a brat. It's the world's largest brat festival with some great bands, some not so great bands, but you may have heard of them. Free. The music's free. The brats are not, but the music is free. You can just walk into Bratfest. You don't have to spend a dime. You walk over to Bratfest. I don't know if parking's free. There might be a charge for parking if you park. But the music is free. I haven't been to Bratfest and I've had the Madison Card Show has been held on Bratfest weekend 2020. Well, I don't know if there was a Bratfest in 2021. I don't think there was. What the fuck? Did my screen just go black for a second? I think in 2021 it was still canceled. Of course, 2020 was canceled. I think 2021 was still canceled because of COVID. We still had restrictions at the card show. We had, I think, social distancing may have been phased out by that point, May of 2021, but we certainly had to have masks. We had to have hand sanitizer and masks available at various locations throughout the room. So there was no Bratfest in 2021, but in 22, 23, and here we are in 2024, Bratfest weekend and Madison Card Show weekend, a nice little marriage. So come out next Saturday. What else? Oh, so I took yesterday off. the afternoon, and so I took my cards out and was going to play at the garden. I was waiting for my wife because I thought she was also taking the afternoon off. Apparently not. She had work, and so it got to be like, I don't know, 4 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, did you want to go to the nursery or no? And she's like, well, she's like, I've got 30 more minutes of work. You can go now. I'm like, well, I can wait. So she came home. We went to the nursery and loaded up at the nursery. So I have the first bed. I've got celery, romaine lettuce, and peas in that bed. And then I bought tomatoes, cucumbers, dill, basil, banana peppers. I forgot the jalapenos. And then we're doing a fruit garden. Never done fruit. I'm gonna try it. Strawberries, like baby watermelon, and cantaloupe. So we'll see. Oh, and then marigolds to keep those bunnies away. So the garden is planted. So I'm digging. So so the pond is in our backyard, and I've weeded down to the water front. Just there's like a path, a walking path down to the pond, which is not that far. It's like the edge of my backyard, and then there's weeds down to the water. So I've paved just a wide walking path down to the water's edge, and then the water's edge I've weeded down there just for sitting at the water. So yesterday afternoon I went down and I just sat down by the water's edge, down by the water's edge. That's a good song. Is that Foo Fighters? Water's Edge? No, Seven Mary 3, down by the water's edge. So I was down by the water's edge, and there's like fish coming up to the I'm like, this is like coming right up to the the shore, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I got to thinking, I wonder if I could feed the fish. So I'm digging in my garden. My back's a little sore. My back's a little sore, and I even spent some time on the Shakti mat last night. My wife's like, because she was on the deck as I was planting the garden, and there's a few times where, she's like, you might want to lay on the Shakti mat tonight. My guy, I think that's a good idea. So I'm digging through. There's a lot of worms in the garden, a lot of, like earthworms. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna feed the fish. So I took, they have the vegetables have those little planters, and I don't think worms are probably good in the garden because they eat the roots of your plants. So I want to get rid of them. Just a little ecosystem. So get rid of the worms, feed the fish. So I took some dirt and put it in one of those little plastic things that the vegetables come in, and just dropped a whole bunch of worms in. And then I took a little halftime break, went down to the pond. Little fishies, a bunch of fishies. Some were a little bigger, some were a little smaller. And I tossed in a little worm, and it was like a koi pond. Man, those fish, they are hungry. It was dinner time. That's why. It was hungry, dinner time. So I had quite a few worms, and they attacked. I know worms are good for soil, but I don't know if they're good for vegetables, like because they eat the roots of the plants. So good for soil, not good for vegetables, eating those roots. Good for fish, get them nice and fat. People can go fish them out. Merle says you really want to keep the worms. Yeah, I'm going to keep them to feed the fish. Are worms good for a vegetable garden? I know worms are good for like soil in your backyard, but are they good for a vegetable garden? Do you want worms in your vegetable garden? I don't think so. I've read everything on the internet is true. It says worms are not necessarily good for vegetable gardens. Let me tell you, there are a lot of worms in that backyard. Let me tell you, when I was weeding, so at the edge of so we've got I've got 4 garden beds, and then there's rock or like small rock around it. And along the sides, there's like grass and weeds growing up. So I was I weeded also yesterday. So I think that probably hurt my back more than, well, I think it was all of the above. But as I'm like pulling the roots of the weeds and grass out from the sides of the garden or the beds, just like worms everywhere. So there's a lot of worms back there. Taking a dozen worms down to the pond and feeding the fish, not going to impact the soil. But I don't know if I want worms in my vegetable garden. They can feast on the soil in the backyard, eat the grass roots. Wasn't that a band, the grass roots? But I don't want them eating my tomato roots. I want a thriving vegetable garden. So that was my afternoon and my evening. There you go. Feed the fish, fatten the fish up, and there's a lot of fish down. There's a walking bridge because there's a park on the other side of the pond, and then there's a walking bridge a few houses down. And man, underneath that bridge, they just like pool. The fish just pool there, and that's usually where people fish off the bridge or down underneath the bridge. And last weekend when I was taking Biscuit for a walk, there was like a dude probably my age, and must have been like his mom. Mom was walking the dog, and he was down like fishing, and he's like, I caught one. And she's like, oh, I want to see it. He's like, I already threw it back. And he's like, but I can catch another one. She's like, what? That fast? And sure enough, he like threw the right back in, caught another one. They're feasting, man. So, but they're small. Like, I don't think you can. I don't know if you'd want to eat the fish in the pond because, like, there's who knows what people are doing in their backyards with, if they're putting pesticides on their grass, and that's likely leaking into the pond. It is flow. I think there's like they put like because there's like a waterfall over on the western edge of the pond, and like sometimes there won't be any wind, but yet the pond is flowing like a river. So I'm wondering if there's like a motor that like creates waves. I don't know, just so algae doesn't build up in the pond. But it does, like, sometimes you look out the window and it's like, wow, it looks like a river out there. It's flowing. But I wouldn't want to, like, it'd be fun to like fish and just catch and release. But I don't know if you would want to eat the fish. But I guess like in water, if you're fishing in a lake, like there's probably runoff from fields and stuff also. I don't know. Maybe that's why cancer, maybe that's why cancer is so prevalent in here. We're eating pesticide fish. So that was my day. Let's go to the chat. Then we'll talk a little eBay talk. East Coast Tom, he wants get in, get out. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm like debating, do I go out but this is my only cup of coffee, my mushroom coffee. It's just one mug. So it's not like I can go up after the show and go fill my mug up. I could fill it with water. That's boring. Sit outside and drink water. I had salad last night for dinner. I had salad with tomato and some croutons with almond milk. And my wife got groceries this week, and I can tell. I'm like, get the vanilla almond milk, and it's like sugar free, and like apparently I was getting like the sugar laced almond milk. And it was good. It was like a milkshake. No wonder it was laced with sugar. My wife got the sugar-free vanilla almond milk, and I'm like, oh, this tastes like water. Oh, like I'm going back to that sugar-laced fun drink. Christian, good morning. Barry's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Donald is here. Good morning. Orlando's in the house. Good morning to you. Scott, what's happening? Happy weekend. Florida baseball card dude's here. Good morning. Mr. Archer, what's happening? Christian says, we got Kicks Pacers. Oh, wait, Knicks. Knicks Pacers, game 7. Can we get a Scotty Scheffler car chase to go with it? There you go. Yeah, was that the series with OJ's car chase? Was it Knicks Pacers? I think it was. 94? East Coast Finals. That was the Reggie Miller versus Spike Lee. Yeah, John Starks for the Knicks. That was like right near the height of my basketball fandom. I was doing last night, I was thinking, and this actually, I was actually thinking about this last night, like when was my peak basketball fandom? And I was thinking, for some reason, I was looking through years and I wanted to see, for some reason, it was like 91, 92, 92, 93, 93, 94. And I'm like, what year in school was I? And I've never really thought deeply about this until last night. And I'm like, what grade was I in during this season? And then I'm not very good. Like, I don't know, like, ask me like what basketball season would have been second grade for you? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's see. I graduated 8th grade in 96. So 95, 94. I have to do that math. So I'm doing the backwards math. So I was always thinking my basketball fandom didn't start until like I was in junior high. Like I was thinking like 93, 94, but it really was 92, 93. 92, 93 is when I just like full on basketball. That's when I was collecting basketball cards. I was a full on basketball junkie. Baseball didn't even care about it was pre-strike. Like I always just assumed I just stopped watching because I still collected baseball cards in 92, 93, but certainly not like I was previously or later. I was all basketball and some baseball here and there. But 92, 93 was when became a basketball junkie, and I was in 5th grade. 92, 93 / school year. I keep getting a black screen pop up every once in a while. I don't know if my internet's fucked up or what, but so 92, 93, and I remember because I was playing basketball in my driveway like every minute. Like I didn't do homework. I played basketball in the driveway. That's what I did. Loved basketball. Our varsity basketball coach recruited me to be like brand manager, like brand, what do you call that? Like a brand ambassador for the basketball program because I played so much. And he's like, and he used me. He didn't use, he was a good guy. He used me to recruit my friends for basketball camp, get them involved in basketball camp, come out. So that was in 5th grade. I remember I won a drawing for a basketball. And I think it was rigged. Like, I never win shit. And I won this basketball in 5th grade. Remember, I'm going to show a picture. And if you're of my age, you're going to be like, oh man, that takes me back. It's got to be, okay. Come on. Yes. Okay. I found one. This was the basketball I won in 5th grade. Remember these basketballs from Pizza Hut? Oh man, this is giving me, and I think it might have been the black one. I think that's the basketball I won. Is that the correct year? Oh, I guess you had to buy it for $5 with a pizza order. I don't know, but we had a drawing at school in 5th grade, and I won a basketball. I won the Pizza Hut basketball in 5th grade. Played the shit out of it, along with every other basketball. I had to get like a new basketball like every 2 months because I'd play in the winter. I'd put gloves on. My neighbor across the street later became an assistant coach on the varsity, and his son was was the head coach for a little while. And he said, I think this was like this was one of those like backhanded compliments. He said that I would be All-American if you played in a wind tunnel. It meant that I sucked. But if we played out in a driveway, it'd be really good. I think that's what he meant by that. I think it was a backhanded compliment. Like, you're not good, but if you played in a wind tunnel, you'd be great. Thank you, I think. 5th grade, man. I was a basketball junkie. Loved it. Brian's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Shipping, then heading outside for yard work. Have a great weekend. It's so nice. And it was so nice yesterday. And I woke up this morning, looked at the forecast, and it's like there may be potential for severe weather this afternoon. I'm like, yeah, please. Because I took yesterday off. I don't want this beautiful day today because I need to get back to work. I took the afternoon off yesterday. Give me some rain. Actually, we don't need any rain. We've had a lot of rain. I just need to be, the words right there. It's right at the tip, I need to be disciplined. That's the word. I need to be disciplined and get my work done and then go out and enjoy the weather. Get your work done, go enjoy the weather. Red Light says, a locksmith can make you a key. Boston Smokes in the house. What's going on? Tracy, what's going on? Good morning. Finally catching alive again. School has blocked YouTube for the remainder of the year. Oh, those bastards. Red Light says cards don't belong in the trash. They do in my house because I got too many. I gotta dump them. James, this is a good question. When you list cards, what condition do you list them in? So this varies. I used to be all about listing as excellent because I don't want a card. I don't want this Ricky Henderson card to go and it's in near mint. Somebody gets it. It's so fucking subjective. Conditions. Oh, and it doesn't matter. eBay has their guidelines, but you and I have our guidelines, and it's different. Oh, that's not near. It's off center. It's 60-40. It's 65-35. Oh, look. Oh, that's not near mint. Like, fuck. So I'd always do excellent. Well, the problem with excellent is, yes, you have problems when you say they're near mint, and some jag off is like, well, it's 65-35. That's not near mint. Like, fuck off. You get that. But on the flip side, if you list this as excellent, sharp corners, looks good to me, and somebody's gonna, I get this a lot. Somebody messages me, what's wrong with this card? I don't know. You've got the picture. You tell me. Well, I don't see any. Excellent says there's damage. I don't see any damage. Well, I guess there's not any damage. I don't know. Usually I just ignore those messages. Especially if it's a $1.50 card. It's like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm sorry. I have terrible customer service. I admit it. 3 business days shipping. A lot of people think that's slow. Tough. That's my business. So I have now rotated. If I'm listing 84 tops, gosh, some of them are terribly off center. I just excellent. Fuck it. Excellent. And then if somebody wants to message me like, what's wrong with the card? I just, sorry, I ignore it. It's priced well enough. It's going to sell, hopefully. So it varies. New stuff, I'm going to put near mint. If it's, Bowman that I listed last week, near mint. So that's kind of how I roll. So I don't really, it's not black and white. Actually, I guess it is. New stuff, near mint. Old stuff, excellent. Mikey says, and sometimes I screw up and like I'll be listing a batch and I put it near mint and there's some stuff that shouldn't have been, that normally I wouldn't have put that in that category. So I guess it is gray. Mikey says, good morning. I'm currently shipping out my orders. Awesome. It's good to have some shipping. James had a guy reach out saying why my listings are excellent, not near mint. LOL. See, that's what I get when I list excellent. Why are these excellent? They look good to me. Well, because the next guy thinks that they're off center by 2%. So it's so fucking subjective. It annoys the shit out of me. George, good morning. What's going on? I should say good afternoon or good evening to you. James had a conversation with this tool bag for about 5 minutes, how I'm not a grader, and if he wants a PSA 10, buy one. Exactly. When people ask me a bunch of questions on condition, I ignore it. Because typically if they have a bunch of questions about that, you're going to run into a headache, which, by the way, let's just rip that Band-Aid off. My fucking annoying issue last night. Guess what? I get a return last night. Guess what it's on? James, you're going to love this. I get a return opened last night for the Jason Dominguez anime card. I sold it for $299. The person sent me an offer of $299. I accepted. They paid. I shipped. Fortunately, it went through the authenticity program. They received it. Well, guess what? Those Bowman anime cards have gone down since release. Oh, I'm shocked. You fucking dumbass. Of course it's going to go down. And he opens a return. He changed his mind. And that's okay because I have 30-day returns, which now I'm reconsidering. I do that because it boosts like your ranking within eBay and all that bullshit. But he changed his mind because it's not worth $299. Now, fortunately, it does go back. So his money's going to be held up for longer because it's got to go back through the authenticity program. So that's what I like about the authenticity program, especially on something like this. Like, remember the asshole in Michigan who duped me on a fucking $5 Albert Pujols, or it might have been $8 Albert Pujols, or was it? No, Yadier Molina rookie card, and sent me some common. And eBay said he gave me negative feedback. eBay wouldn't remove it. eBay sided with that asshole. I'm like, what the fuck? He just stole. And you're siding with him? Thank God it was only $5, $6, $8, whatever it was. But the authenticity program through eBay prevents that. So I like it for that reason. It's a protection. So if this guy wanted to send a common, it'd get to the authenticity and they're like, this isn't the card. What I'd really love to happen if he like scratched it or damaged it and it gets back to authentic. I'm petty. I'm being a petty Betty this morning. It gets back to authenticity and they're like, no, this is not the same condition that you received it in. And they deny it and send it back to him and he has to suck it. That would be awesome. So that's annoying. So that was my annoying return. Kyle, good morning. The raised garden looks delicious. I hope so. We were at the nursery last night and I was going to get like 3 cute. So last year, so I have a lot more space for my garden. I have a lot more garden space this year than I have in previous years at the old house. And so I would get like 3 cucumber plants in previous years. And my wife would be like, that's a lot. And I'm like, 3 cucumber. And I make pickles. So we're at the nursery and I get my 3 cucumber plants. And she's like, is that going to be enough? And I'm like, enough? Who are you? And she's like, well, I have a lot of clients that want pickles. And I'm like, oh, I'm starting a pickle business. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, we've got space. We've got a whole lot of space. I can. So there's, I think, 5 cucumber plants out there. So maybe 6. So there are plenty. So plenty of pickles. Orlando says, so relaxing sitting by the water, fish watching. In South Florida, we have to be careful with alligators. Yeah. I can just sit on the grassy knoll next to the pond. And fortunately, I don't have to worry about alligators. I don't even think I have to worry about snakes. I've never seen a snake up here. Knock on wood. Hopefully I don't. But I just sit right there at the water's edge, watch the little fishies. I did see what I think is a bluegill. I had to Google it because they're like striped, kind of looks like a tiger. I don't know I only saw one of those. The other ones, I'm guessing, where's Kyle at? What would be a pond fish in southern Wisconsin? Bass? crappie. I don't know. Just a real small, like, I don't know, that big. So it looks like a fish that would be in a pond. I don't know, whatever type of fish that would be. Talking worms. Jody's on his way to the St. Pete card show. Good luck today. No card shows for me this weekend. Merle says, first time I've been able to watch the show in a long time. Yeah, I thought it's been a while. I haven't been listing cards in a while either, so my store is pretty quiet. Well, that's a bummer. Get to listing. Mikey says, nursery. Congrats on having a kid. No, this is the other kind of nursery. Merle says, I've been way too busy umping baseball games to get much else done in my free time. Luckily, the high school season is almost over. There you go. Merle says, if it was that kind of nursery, he would probably feed the kid to the fish because kids eat everything. There you go. Mikey was joking. Merle bought a lot of 64 1970s Topps cards yesterday for $30. Has some Hall of Famers in there, mostly 1973 Topps. Too good to pass up. I love one of my favorite cards of the 70s, the Kurt Bavacqua Bubblegum Champ card. Love it. Love it. Paul's in the house. Good morning. Dan, what's up? Happy Saturday. He's coaching some soccer. We've got some little kids soccer going on. Yep, they're playing. Park is full. Got little kids soccer across the pond. Kendall, what's going on? What are you running for promo percent these days? I went back to, I dabbled with, I dropped my percent down to 5% for about a month and just wasn't doing it. Popped it back up to 12% dynamic and the sales are flowing. So I'm at 12% dynamic. Most of the sales are coming in at 12%, but every once in a while you get like a 5%, 6% sale. But 12% dynamic is what I'm doing. I played with the 5% and I wasn't seeing the traction. Once I boosted to 12%, boom, coming right in. Johnny M, what's up? Good morning. PSA 7 equals near mint. That's also why all my listings say see pick for condition. I think I did add that to my generic description because it's so subjective. But a PSA 7, some people like the PSA 10 wonks, they're like, oh, 7's not near mint. So it's just like, they're so subjective. And you can put disclaimers in all day. People don't read. But I did. Just so you can go back and say, well, the description says. Donald says, in my eBay description, I put disclaimer, this card may have damage. May have damage to the corners, edges, and surface. This card may be off center too. All transactions are final. There you go. And I think, especially with Bowman, like when people reach out to me and they're like, are there blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's Bowman. There's probably scratches. Like every Bowman I see, do I have any next to me? I don't think so. But every freaking Bowman out of the pack comes scratched in some way. James says, LOL, no effing way. I'm pretty pissed. Johnny M says, just recently converted all my listings to 30-day returns. May have to think about changing it back to no returns. Yeah, I have 30-day returns, and I'm considering, especially on new release on something like case hits, higher dollar cards, I am considering now with this one instance. And I've been lucky. This hasn't. I'm surprised it hasn't happened to me more. But it is something where on something like that, I may just go and not do no returns on this because there's a lot of assholes out there that as soon as the market drops, they want to return it. Kendall says, I don't know if you've watched Friends. Oh, of course. But you making pickles is like when Monica was making candy for the neighbors. Yes. In fact, I watch Friends every single night. It's I get into bed, I turn Friends on. I don't watch it. It's background, but that's what I have on as I'm laying in bed. Yes. And I think you're right. It's like, oh no, we've just opened Pandora's box. Because I've got my mom wants pickles. My cousin wants pickles. I have a friend who wants spicy pickles from his Bloody Marys. And yeah, I've opened up a Pandora's box with my pickles. James says, definitely be petty. Fuck that guy buying a card on release week at top value and his butt hurt. It's worth $150. And yeah, I looked, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that motherfucker. What's the price? And it's like a 150, 175, somewhere in that vicinity. Son of a bitch, that motherfucker. So I Googled, and the first thing when stuff like this happens, I Googled the eBay username, see if there's, if it's on scam groups, blowout forums. Didn't see anything, but he's on my block list. Like, that's the first thing I did. He is on my block list. What kind of pickles do you make? Dill, bread and butter? Yes, all of the above. So I make mainly dill, but also bread and butter. Bread and butter are my favorite. I eat them like candy. And then I also make a couple jars of spicy jalapeno. I don't typically eat the spicy jalapeno, but I give them to friends who like that stuff. I've dabbled with vodka pickles. My mom really loves the vodka pickles. Let's see. What else have I made? I guess basically those four. I think I've experimented with some other stuff, but those are the four that are most common that I make. Merle says you can add pickles on your table at the November card show, right? Yeah, there you go. Green sunfish, bluegills, largemouth bass are probably your main pond fish there. Okay, it's probably bass. It's probably bass and bluegills. I know because I saw a bluegill, and I don't know, maybe a green sunfish. I guess I could Google it and see for myself, right? What's a green sunfish? Doesn't really look like a green sunfish. What's a bass look like? I'm guessing it's probably a young bass because it's really small. It's small. Just a little guy. So maybe a bass, maybe a small, maybe a little baby bass. I don't know. Let's see. Paul says, I've got a ton of awesome Marvel lots I'm working on while I listen. Got a complete set of all 120 Malure Infinity Stones, all colors, all to $299. I don't know what any of that means. Testing that full set also got enough to do a rainbow of each character and a run of each stone. Very nice. Throw some of those pickles up on eBay. There you go. Let's see. T206 Kid, what's up? 1 million pickles. No. No. So eBay issues, man. And I thought my eBay issues were just the volume that I've been doing. And my volume's really not, it's up. My volume is up, but it's not up to where you would see a 10x amount of issues, where and I don't know if that's really the case, but I have had a lot of items not received lately, and they've all it's all backdated to the same batch from like April 24th. Like all of my items not received cases have come from that day, and it's stuck in Milwaukee. Like, son of a bitch. So I think it was probably where it's not a numbers game. It's just that batch got stuck in Milwaukee and hanging out somewhere. So I've had more items not received cases than I probably have had more item not received cases. I can look, I guess, in the last 30 days than I have in the last in this year alone. I bet between April 18th and today, I've had more items not received than I have the entire calendar year outside of the last 30 days. Where's my items not received? And let's just see my last 30 days. Looks like I currently have 4 open that sometimes I sit on them because they'll eventually be, oh wait, I just have 2. Let's see. Let's do, so there's 2. Oh wait, we can do all in the last 30 days. It's like 13, but that's not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've had 11 in the last 30 days. So last 30 is 11. And then let's do, so that dates back to what, April 18th. So let's do, oh, shit. I guess we'll do that. I don't think there's a custom. I can't do a custom search. Oh, wow. I've had a lot in the last 90 days. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So last 90 days I've had 28. Now you're like, that's a lot. But go to my sales. And let's see if it'll allow me to do last 90. What I don't like about reports is I can do on some reports, you can do last 90, last 30, and then you go to sales, you can't do last 90. So I've got to fucking do a custom. Okay. So custom. And what's the last 90? Let's just say April, March. Is that February? March, April, May, February. So let's just do 02, 18, 2024 to 05, 18, 2024. This may or may not be 90 days. Could be 89, could be 91. I don't know. So 9,473. So 28 of 9,473. So when you put it in those terms, like 28, like, oh my God, 28, that's a lot. You're talking 28 out of 9,473. It's not that many. Mikey says, I would be interested in the Jason Dominguez if you get it back. We could work out a deal. ASAL cards. I've been having a ton of, I don't want to get it back though. I've been having a ton of issues of certain batches not scanning. I'm guessing it's one USPS worker that doesn't understand ESE. So it's not USPS. So the ESE are scanned at the sorting facilities. So for whatever reason, they're not being scanned at the destination. So, and I don't know what could be leading to that. But they're not scanned by actual postal workers, like at the, I guess essentially, yes, it is postal workers that are running the machines, but it's not like a delivery guy is scanning them. It's only scanned at the sorting facilities. So, but I don't know why it's like, why are they being scanned in Milwaukee and then there's no other scan? I don't know. Haven't had any issues until the past few weeks, and that's where my bump is coming. Actually, no, my bump hasn't. Well, so what's 28? 28 divided by 3. Is what? 9. So just a slight bump, I guess. So the last 30 days, I've had 11 cases opened, where the previous 2 months, I was averaging about 9 cases per month. So I guess mine is normal. It just seems like there are more issues. And I think it's because I'm getting a lot of messages like, hey, I haven't received this. They're just not opening a case. I don't know. Low Roller Scratcher has joined us. Will the GameStop put out card show if they expand sell sports cards at GameStop, since they sell graded Pokemon at GameStop? I don't know. Not a great topic for my show because I don't care. So yeah, I've had, it seems like I've had more issues lately, but I guess when I look at the numbers, I guess I'm not having as many issues as what I had thought. So that's what I had for today. I did have something pop up last night. I noticed So I'll go to my on my eBay app. I'll go and look at. Oh, that request just popped up this morning. So one of the requests that I had just popped up this morning. Never got cards. Never got the cards. Let's see, what's tracking say on this? Let's just see. What's tracking? Oh my God, this dumb. So, and this is also this is something that also is annoying. So, since sometimes there's multiple transactions, and sometimes that's the buyer buying things separately, or it's my settings are off within my eBay store, which I think is usually the case. Tracking, like I'll just hit shipped. So in this case, he says never got the items, but there's no tracking. There's no tracking because he ordered multiple things. So I have to go in and I have to manually add the tracking. So a lot of times people just go, they're going through their purchases. Oh, I never got this because it doesn't say delivered, but they actually did get it. It's like, hey, these cards were with the rest of your order. Soapbox, eBay Soapbox Day. So I have to go in and do that. So I have, not going to do that. I have, so I go to my newly listed and I see my Shaquille O'Neal Italian version that I listed at the same time as the Johnny Kilroy card. And the Johnny Kilroy's not there. I'm like, I don't remember selling the Johnny Kilroy card. So I go to my sold and I search Johnny Kilroy. No Johnny Kilroy. I search listed for Kilroy. No Kilroy. I think it was delisted. So I don't know what the hell. And I checked my messages. I never got a message. eBay is really weird with Michael Jordan stuff. Like the lenticular card, that I listed for $100. All others are $150 to $200. Listed for $100, didn't show up for 24 hours. And I do know that's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Mickey Mantle, stuff like that. They don't list right away. It goes through they have to review it, I guess. It did populate and it's in my store now. But then I listed a Michael Jordan lot and it pops up immediately. I listed the Kilroy, it listed immediately, and then it was delisted apparently. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna go into I wonder if it's in my unsold, active unsold. And no, it's not showing up there either. That's weird. That is weird. So what's up, Dan? What's going on? So that's what I had for today. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Buy 7 or more items at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. Paul says Michael Jordan lots are the best. 20 card Jordan lots have been flying out of my store at $40 each. Yeah, so the last Jordan lot I put up was a while ago. And I think I ended up getting like $275 a card, and it was not that great of a lot. I've got one up right now, and I've got, I think, enough for 6 50 card lots. And I've got this one up at 130. And so I'm going to hold out for more than $2 a card. Not much more. It'll eventually sell. It's only been listed for a few days, so it'll sell. Because there's some good stuff. I'm looking at comps on singles, and a lot of these Jordan cards are selling for $5-7. So gonna hold off. And yes, I'm gonna list the Kilroy again. What is the latest hit you found in the Goodwill pallet? There was a garbage. There's a couple garbage bags. Believe it or not, a couple garbage bags. That had some good stuff, and I went through one yesterday morning. I was digging through just because I need to make some progress, and there was a lot of like mid 90s basketball commons. And so I was pulling some random stuff that I normally wouldn't. But I'm low on basketball stuff for like my bargain boxes. And eventually YouTube boxes. So I was pulling some stuff, and I get to the bottom, and there's a lot of like, and this is probably a lot of dollar cards that'll go in dollar boxes. We're talking relics and autos. A lot of stuff that I'd put in quarter boxes. A lot of like Mahomes and Rodgers that I sell to my guy. So a few there. No big hits, nothing big, but a lot of small stuff that'll make it well worth it. Paul says, I think I need to bump up my pricing. Yeah, there you go. If they're flying out of your store, and I can assure you, I think the lot that I had was 150? No. I think it was 127 cards. And I think it sold for like $250, $275. It sold for more than $2 a card, and it was a big lot. And there was a lot of like junkier Jordan cards, like the checklists, and the stuff I have now is better. So yeah, I think you could definitely, I think you could probably price it at 60, and probably might be able to move them at 60, but I think 50 is your sweet spot. I think on a 20 card lot, I think 50 to 60 is your sweet spot. I'd go to 60. Yeah, exactly. 250 to $3 a card. I think that's your sweet spot. List those garbage pail kids. Do I have any? Oh, yeah. I don't know where they're at though. Paul says garbage bag cards. Oh, they're not garbage pail kids. They're garbage bags of cards. But I do have some modern garbage pail kids in a box that I think were in the last Goodwill pallet. Paul says garbage bag cards are underrated. I got a Tom Brady rookie from a garbage bag of cards during graded a PSA 8. Nice. I pulled out of it, and it wasn't a garbage bag. It was one of those reusable bags, and it was like, there was like dirt in the bottom. It was like I had to wash my hands every time I looked through this bag. But there were 2 or 3 Kobe rookies in it, in top loaders. So that's why I don't leave any stone unturned. I go through, because like the box that I thought was a bunch of 91 Fleer, or actually it was, I think 89 Donruss was on the top. At the bottom, there's a whole bunch of vintage football, including a Terry Bradshaw rookie that sold for over $100. And so I was this close to throwing that box away without going through the rest of it. And I'm glad I didn't. So that's why sometimes you go through, it's like panning for gold. A lot of times you go through these garbage bags and there's nothing in them. But then the next one you go through, there's a Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, Terry Bradshaw rookie card. Nick's in the house. What's going on? Do you have a strategy for Hall of Fame baseball lots, 80s, 90s? Paul would be the guy to ask on that. I don't typically do lots. When I do lots, it's usually when I do lots, it's stuff that's already sorted. Like I've got a bunch of football cards that I bought in a card show deal a couple months ago that I'm sitting on, that eventually they're football, so I probably might just wait until football season. Like Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, and then there's some random guys that they're already sorted. So even a random guy, like I don't even know who the random guys would be. Keyshawn Johnson, maybe. I'll put him up for whatever. I'm guessing like what, 20 cents? What, Paul? 20 cents a card, 100 card lot, $20, $30, maybe price it at 30. Yeah, don't do auctions. Don't do auctions on lots. Never do auctions on lots. But also, hint, if you're a buyer, look for lots on eBay. You can get some great deals buying lots. Why? Because they don't sell for shit. So don't sell lots on eBay. I would say Hall of Fame baseball, depending, obviously Harold Baines is going to sell for a lot less than Ken Griffey Jr. You might be able to get 50 cents a card out of Ken Griffey Jr. lots, where Harold Baines is going to be 15 to 20 cents is kind of my guess. I'd say you'd be around like like somebody like a lower tier Hall of Famer from the 80s and 90s, I'm guessing your starting point would be 20 to 25 cents per card, and you're probably going to get 15 to 20 cents up upon sale. That's just my guess. Paul says he does 80s and 90s lots, 100 card batches, 30 to 50 bucks, depending on the cards. There you go. 25 shipped for 20 Griffies. Hey, that's maybe I'll do some Griffey lots. I sell a lot of Griffey singles, but Griffey lots are my second best sellers after Jordan. Very nice. So I do have I've been pulling Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I'm still deciding whether I list them as singles or just lot them up. I do like the lots because it's a quick, it can be a quick sale as far as a higher end where you're not, it's really easy for me to list. I can probably list 100 Brady cards in the same amount of time I can list 100 card Brady lot because I can just scan them in, list them. Where in 100 cards, I'm probably taking 10 at a time, taking photos. So lotting them up just makes it faster. Where are we at? Mikey says, I've had 5 not received claims this month out of 350 plus transactions. So what's the percentage? What was my percentage? Where's my post-it? So 5 out of 350. You're running at what's that? 1%, 1.4%. That does seem a little high. That seems a little high. Mine was 28 out of 94, 73. Yeah, mine's 0.2%. Actually 0.3%. 0.295577. So I'm running at 0.3%. You're around 1.4%. So that is a little higher, but it's also, if you do several more transactions, I don't think that number, I don't think it's going to grow. Your 5 out of 350 is going to grow. It could have just been that time. I don't know. It's, but I bet if you did 1,000 transactions, I don't think your 1.4% would be sustainable through 1,000. It's going to drop. Kind of like when you list, it's not going to catch up. It's you list 1,000 cards today, you're not all of a sudden going to sell 300 of them overnight. So it's just not how it works. So it's a little high, but I wouldn't be worried about it because it could have been all at the same time. Like my Milwaukee batches, a lot of mine came on the same date, still hanging out in Milwaukee on April 24th or whatever day it was. I wouldn't be too concerned. Paul says, I've sold about 1,000 Griffey cards in the past 90 days in 20 and 100 card lots. Peter's in the house. What's going on? You didn't list Manny Pacquiao boxing card. I don't have one. And since I don't have one, that's why I didn't list one. All right. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. Go see what I've added. I did add some stuff. I think I added 1 batch of cards. A lot of them already sold. I listed, there was an 84 top set that was in the Goodwill pallet. I listed a batch of cards, including the Mattingly, sold. Boom. Along with a lot of the other singles. So I had a lot of 80s stuff sell in the last 24 hours. A lot of 86 tops sold. A lot of 84 tops sold. So, alrighty. So that's what I had. Like, subscribe, visit my eBay store. Don't forget, next Saturday, no Hobby Evolution because it's the Madison Card Show. Next Saturday, 9 to 3, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Free admission, 175 dealer tables throughout 3 ballrooms. We've got State Street Ballroom, Williamson Ballroom on the first floor, and then we've got the upstairs mezzanine and Capitol Ballroom. Next Saturday, 9 to 3, free admission, 175 tables at the Madison Card Show. After the show, head across the street, which is John Nolan Drive, and take in Bratfest. I think Tantric's on stage right after the show on Saturday. So go see Tantric on Saturday. Or no, it's Rehab on Saturday afternoon. I think Tantric's on Friday. Can't remember. I think Rehab. They had one hit, I think, in the 10, 15 years ago. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. I got some shipping to do. Have a great weekend. We will do it all again tomorrow, probably about the same time, 8:30 Central Time. We'll see you then.